Hello, if you've been watching my channel, you would have noticed I put up a video about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it was a professional sling video. I got across the point I wanted to, but basically I filmed it, it was quite late at night and I wasn't fully paying attention. I didn't realise how soaked the TRT and stuff was. So I was just filming it like what I'd usually do, but I wasn't fully watching. Well, it came across. Basically, my point was correct, but the video content didn't really fit it. That was just a fail on my part, but everyone's alright. Basically, I've rehoused them just because it's a lot easier to show and it's a lot easier for me to care for them. So yeah, I'm going to show you quickly. I'm going to show you for a dry species, which is obviously the B vagans, and wet species, which is the PMAC. So, by the way, this is just for watering your teas. It's obviously what you're going to use, feed them appropriate sizes when they're slings. So yeah, pretty much when I feed and water my slings, I've got a water bottle, a pipette, some tweezers, some other tweezers, but they're for the bigger species. But yeah, just some tweezers just in case. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and a box, but the box will be explained in a second. So yeah, I'll just open the lid. My B Vagans isn't too skittish, so I'm not too worried. That's why I'm using these two. My G Pulchripes is quite skittish. Looking very nice though, since it's malted. Looking a lot more like a B Vagans. So yeah, I'd obviously advise taking the lid off in the tub, but I will just show you. I'm just showing you this because it's my B Vagans and it's quite calm. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to show you what I do for keeping the humidity. Obviously you want to have a lot of holes in the lid. The holes are more important for the wet species, but they also help with the dry. I've got them around the side, you can see the little there. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I have the leaf in the middle. What I basically do is I put a few droplets on the leaf. So yeah, these are just plastic leaves that you can get from any reptile shop. I just cut them off and I've got a box full of them, and then I put water droplets around the side. So this is just using roughly about one. So you want to put a few droplets on that, and then the rest of the pipette you want to put around the side. This can work with any tubs, obviously you don't want to get too wet, and then I just put a tiny bit more. Because people don't realise slings can be kept. They're a bit more lenient to the humidity you use, and I feel like they do a lot better with a bit higher than people advise. Because obviously when they're bigger they can have water balls. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just trying to get one side wet. The other side is completely dry, but it's basically 1/3 of the tank is wet. And that's why I've used these bit bigger tubs. This works perfectly fine. It's obviously different for AVIX. I haven't got AVIX yet. Spoiler. So I might be doing this for AVIX, but if I'm honest, I probably won't, because Sturmy76 does a perfect AVIC care video. It's absolutely perfect. I'd just be copying that, and that's obviously not right. So yeah, because that's all I really do. So if you want to know how I keep my well, obviously when I've got 8 how I keep them be exact same as Sturmy76. So I can put the link in the description if people want, just let me know. But yeah, that's perfectly how you keep 8. But yeah, anyway, back to mine. So yeah, that's how I water my dry species. The wet species isn't so much different. By the way, when rehousing them, I just put dry substrate in. So it's just completely dry. But this is my 7-legged PMAC. Actually it's a suspect female. I was thinking male, but I've got a feeling it's a female. So I obviously opened the lid inside because it's a lot more skittish. As you can see, the substrate's already wet, and that's because if it's a dry species, I give them completely dry, but if it's wet, I'll put in damp substrate straight off the bat. Not damp, well, a bit damp, just like, obviously you can see the colour difference because that's a lot lighter and that's just completely dark. So yeah, Obviously you put wet substrate in, that's just because they prefer it, and panthos, and so basically anything like panthos, they prefer wet substrate, completely wet. So I'm just going to do the same thing, a few water droplets in the middle of the leaf, and rest of that on the side. So I'm going around the tea. I don't want to get it wet, but it's not too fussed. It's quite calm, but it's doing perfectly fine. So it's got 7 legs. Really, really likes to keep cares. So yeah, just dampening the substrate, and this is totally up to preference, but you can dampen a bit more than usual. So you want to keep it a lot damper than obviously Bee Vagons, because it's it likes its humidity, but you want to keep at least like 1/3 of the tank a bit drier than the rest. So if you notice, I only did about 2/3 to half of it, and that side I'm just keeping a bit more dry. That's just because if it chooses, it can go to a bit more dry side. So yeah, by the way, I've took the other Sling video down, so this is going to be the only one, but this is how I care for my slings, terrestrials. By the way, if you want, like my Bee Vagons isn't really a burrow anymore, it's got past that. Neither is the PMAC has the choice to, because what you want to do is you want to wet down the substrate, and how you do this is basically you put dry or so if you want to, it's wetted down already because that's a damp substrate, but if you want to do it for the dry species, I advise just before you put the tea in, for like, just spray the substrate when the tank's empty, leave it, and it'll dry out, but it'll have a lot more solid structure, so it can give it the choice to burrow, or you can put a piece of cork bark in, it'll sit under that. But my Bee Vagons, it just sits out in the open most of the time. It's not too bothered. Plus these tanks, they're a bit glazed over, so it's not too bad they don't really need as much, what's the word, don't really need a hide because they're that small as well. Plus if it really wanted to, it can burrow, because I'll just show you quickly, just making sure the lid's on. Yep. So I'll just show you quickly. Where is it? Okay, this is just showing. When I get it out, my G-Pull Cripes is very skittish, but it comes out in the open the rest of the time. This is what it does if it's just dry substrate, it'll just bury down a tiny bit. So its arse is sticking out. But that's if you don't dampen it down, but it doesn't really need to be damped down, because it only does that when it's startled. Rest of the time it's walking about, hanging off the side, not bothered. So I will be doing that next, but I'll be doing that off camera because it's very skittish. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd do the same for my Inti Gold, but that's a lot easier because you can just put water droplets on the webbing. But yeah, just do like round about 1/3 of the tanks is dry species, and that's pretty much it. But it's very skittish, and that's gonna be fun to do. But yeah, that's pretty much wanted to get across. Sorry about that video. It didn't put across what I wanted it to, basically. So yeah, that's the new improved Sling Care video, and that's what I wanted to get across. So yeah, thanks for watching anyway. Sorry about the confusion, and cheers for watching. And by the way, thanks for getting me over 100 subs now. Very grateful for people. So yeah, watch out for a video coming after this, or it might be just before, because I don't know what I'm going to upload these. I don't know if I'll have time to upload this. So watch out. You might see some new additions. Spoilers. Okay, speak to you in a bit, people. Bye.